And you got to kind of stick with it. The first couple of episodes are like really, but I don't think.
Do I have to come to that one? I believe in music for everyone.
I know band it is.
But it doesn't mean I have to enjoy it all.
I never could get beat. And a couple of later seasons, a couple of these yeah, there's a few of those, but the way Hannah evolves is so much fun to watch. Not Hannah. That's her real name.
Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Orlando. I'm Catherine Vaccaro, a member of the worship team here at 1U. With me today in service are Beth Tuura, Brian Beaver, our minister, Reverend Margalie Belizaire, the Director of Lifespan Religious Enrichment, Judith Stein-Farrall, Director of Music, Aubrey Connelly-Candelario, with the Chalice Choir, and our accompanist, Danny Monzon Villegas, and our drummer, Jacob Height. Today, helping with chalice lighting is Sydney. And let's not forget our teams of wonderful people in the background working diligently to ensure that we come together this morning. So thank you. Thank you all. Children will be sung out after time for all ages to participate in their activities around the Enrichment Center. We greet you this morning, old friends and new ones, as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and compassionate service to the community. Whether today is your first or your 1,000th time in our midst, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here. In this community, your whole self is welcome. We welcome your race, national origin, immigration status, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, economic status, or religious background. We welcome you. For more information about our congregation and announcements, go to orlandouu.org or email info@orlandouu.org. As always, we have a few special announcements today. Join us in Classroom B for conversation with the minister, which starts at 11:45 and ends at 12:30. Feel free to bring your beverage and snacks, as this is meant to be a time for casual conversations with Reverend Margalie. Newcomers are especially welcome, but it's open to everyone. Summer programming in RE starts now. Judith, our Religious Enrichment Director, is requesting folks who might be interested in helping out with the children's programming, please visit the RE table in Gore Hall after service. Ask some questions and maybe sign up for 1 or 2 days this summer. You won't be alone. You will be appreciated. The first 3 services in June are as follows. First, our flower communion next Sunday. So don't forget to bring flowers to commune with those that others bring. Second, our volunteer appreciation and inverse water communion on June 8th. Come be celebrated and bring the small bottle you were given last year. We'll have some on hand for those who didn't get one. Then, our Father's Day service on June 15th. Come celebrate fathers and fathering. All other announcements are on slides before and after the service and have links in the weekly update or on our website. The order of service can be accessed via the QR code on the screen right now. Please note that a link to the weekly update is now at the bottom of the order of service. Please click on it to view what's going on at 1U. Thank you again for being here in person and online today. And now we'll have our chalice lighting. Please join me in saying these opening words. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. And now we have Sydney to help us, and Sydney is turning 11, and she loves axolotls, and if you don't know what one of those is, please look it up online. It's the most charming creature I've seen in a long time. All right, we're going to light with the words from Reverend Michelle Collins. We light this chalice, a spark in the darkness, kindling the embers of imagination within us. May its flames ignite wonder, fuel dreams of justice, and illuminate the path toward what could be. Maybe.
Thank you so much, Sydney, and I hope you do it again, and it's not usually this complicated. Oh. Welcome, welcome, beloveds. And we are continuing to explore the theme of imagination, the practice of imagination. And today we are addressing one of those topics that we don't usually talk about in UU circles. So you'll have to wait for more information as we continue to worship together. And I invite us into worship with the words of Sharon Wiley. It is said that ministers are here to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. I say we are all afflicted and we are all comfortable. May our time together this morning be a comfort and a confrontation. May we here find peace in times of turmoil. May we here invite turmoil into lives of peace. May we here find calm in times of restlessness. May we here allow restlessness to evolve into action. Let this be the place you consider what you've never considered. Let this be the place you imagine for yourself, something new and unthinkable. May this hour or so bring dream of new ways of being in the world. So come, beloveds, let us worship together. Take a moment to greet one another at this point, and make sure to greet someone that you have not greeted before. So now, if you would take your seat, or somebody else's, and, and listen as the choir sings, "We Don't Talk About Bruno." Now, if you feel so moved, please dance.
We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno. But it was my wedding day. We were getting ready and there wasn't a cloud in the sky. Bruno walks in with a mischievous grin. You telling this story or am I?
I'm starting to get it on.
Bruno says it looks like rain. Why did he tell us?
He told me it was my rain.
Wanna get the umbrellas?
Living in a hurricane.
Try to stay, but anyway, we don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno. Hey, good living theory, Bruno stuttering and stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and mumbling. I associate it with the sound of falling sand. It's a heavy lift with a gift so humbling. Always has a rag in the family crumbling. Grappling with prophecies he couldn't understand.
Do you understand?
A 7-foot frame runs along his back. When he calls your name, it all turns to black. Yeah, he sees your dreams and feasts on your streets. We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno. He told me my fish would die the next day dead. No, no. He told me I'd grow like the grapes that thrive on the vine. Oh yeah, Mariano's on his way. Told me that the man of my dreams would be just out of reach. Betrothed to another.
It's like I hear
Hey, sis, I want not a sound out of you. I can hear him now. Oh, Bruno. Yeah, about that Bruno. I really need to know about Bruno. Give me the truth and the whole truth, Bruno. Isabella, your boyfriend's here. Time for dinner. A 7-foot ring. That's so long as Maddie and it was your own. It all fades to black. Yeah, he sees your dreams and a piece on your screens. On the vine, I'm fine. 7-foot ring. That's so long as back. When it comes to the price, it all fades to black. Yeah, he sees your dreams. I'll be fine. He's here. Don't talk about Bruno. No, no. I don't want about Bruno.
We don't talk about my mics now. Ta-da, there we go. We don't So, for Time for All Ages, anyone that wants to talk about Bruno, would you all come up here and join me? Anyone that's young at heart, silly. Yeah. Yay! The frog jumping seems to be a thing today. I think we're telling the wrong story. Good morning, everyone. For anyone who's, hold on, it'll go on in a moment. For anyone who's not familiar with who I am, my name is Judith Stein-Farrall. I'm the Director of Lifespan Religious Enrichment. It's a really long name. Okay, here we are. So, I'm going to sit down to get a little closer to your height without breaking my knees. So, anyone here watch the movie Encanto? Oh, thank goodness. You, yay. We just sang a song from the movie. Are you familiar with the song?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
We don't, you don't? Okay, it's called We Don't Talk About Bruno. Why didn't we talk about Bruno? Anybody remember from the movie?
I remember.
Let me start with you. Yep, go ahead. You remember? Okay. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Because whatever he said came true.
Yep. Want to add to that? Visions. Come on up. I could. Why don't we talk about Bruno?
Because their door was went off.
Because what?
Because his door was went off.
His door went, okay, his door went off. That's right. So in the movie, everybody has all these people with special abilities have a really bright door, and his light went out, right? Yeah.
But the lady was probably fortune telling.
He was, okay, so Bruno could tell, sorry, say it again?
I never watched.
Okay, Bruno could see into the future a little bit, it seemed, had the ability to predict. So and did people like what they heard?
No.
People, why not? Why didn't people like what they heard?
Because it was Bruno.
Oh, say that again, Marnie.
He was telling the truth, but they didn't like the truth.
They
didn't like
out of the mouths of babes. Why don't people like the truth sometimes?
because it's usually bad things.
And what was the other word you were about to say, I think? It started with an S, I think. Oh, maybe not. Anybody else? Mom?
Any ideas? You're young at heart.
I'm talking about the truth. It's scary sometimes?
Very good. Exactly. I could have pointed to the words, but I didn't. You got it. Pointing to the truth is scary. What kinds of things scare you all? Go ahead.
Sharks.
Sharks. Coming right to you in a moment.
The dark.
The dark.
Needles.
Needles. Here we go.
Tarantulas.
Tarantulas.
Bugs. I absolutely hate them.
Absolutely hate bugs. Reverend Margalie is going to help me with the mic. Anything else that scares you? These are all real, tangible things. Oh, yep.
Alligators.
Alligators. These are all real, tangible things. Do doing things scare you sometimes? No? No? Do things you have to, that you watch on TV scare you sometimes?
No.
No? This is a really brave group of people. How can we help not being scared of things?
Sometimes you can expose yourself to it, and then it can help you build your fear.
Expose yourself to it and sometimes help you fear. Reverend Margalie Marnie right here had something.
Reading Harry Potter.
Reading Harry Potter. Whoa, wait, I have a quick question. Why would reading Harry Potter help?
There's a lot of scary stuff in there, though I'm pretty fine with it. So.
Okay. But sometimes if you learn about it, right, if you expose yourself to it and learn about it and talk about it and admit to scary stuff, it helps you deal with it. Or you can find someone to help you get over it, or reading about it. So tarantulas are scary, but if you learn how to be around them, it's not as scary, right? Alligators are scary, so we don't get into the water in Florida anywhere, period. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. Just make choices, right? You learn where not to go. All right. So the lesson here is when we talk about things that scare us, we usually things can get less scary. Maybe not scary, just less scary. All right. So thank you for joining me for Time for All Ages. If our families would please form a loving arch so our kids can join me in the classroom this afternoon, this next session, and talk more about Encanto.
Today's service is inspired by a character many of you may know. It's from the animated film Encanto. It is, in the story, Bruno is the family member no one talks about. Not because he did something wrong, but because his truth-telling made people uncomfortable. His gift was vision, seeing things as they really are and as they might become. And when those truths felt too difficult, too disruptive, the family chose silence. But of course, silence didn't make the truth disappear. It simply made Bruno disappear. And in so doing, the family lost not only his insights, but also his presence, his belonging, his love. In Unitarian Universalist spaces, we aspire to be communities where everyone belongs, where no part of our collective truth is banished to the attic. And yet, there are things we don't talk about. There are people we unconsciously exclude from the subjects we avoid. One of those subjects is alcohol, our use of it, our relationship with it, and the impact it has on so many lives. Perhaps we hesitate because alcohol is often part of our celebration in our culture, in our UU culture, and even in congregational gatherings. Perhaps we don't want to sound judgmental, or perhaps we are carrying our own private pain or standing beside loved ones who suffer, and we just don't know how to bring it into the room. But silence has consequences. When we don't name something, when we treat it as if it is taboo, we are making those who are struggling feel invisible, alone, outside, like Bruno. So this morning, with courage and compassion, we will talk about the things we sometimes leave unspoken. We will hear two powerful stories, one from someone who has not wrestled with addiction himself, but has lived with its ripple effects through love, loss, and grief. And another from someone in long-term recovery who will share her journey towards sobriety. Let us begin this time together with hearts open, minds gentle. May we create a space where truth is welcomed, where silence is broken, and where every story begins.
Hi, I'm Beth Tuura. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. We invite you now into the practice of generosity. It is one of our spiritual values which sustains the life and ministries of the church community. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to give, for it is a privilege to be able to do so. And let us be grateful for our needs, for they give us the opportunity to practice receiving. Today's full collection will go to the ministries of this congregation. Our Share the Plate recipient for May and June is One Heart for Women and Children. The offering will now be collected. Note that you can also give online. Let us joyfully receive what is offered here today in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship. Brian?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Brian Beaver. I'm been a long-time member here at 1U, and I'm not up here to talk about my story as someone who has personally struggled with alcohol addiction, but rather as someone whose life has been deeply shaped by it through the people I love, through loss, and through the complicated road to recovery I've witnessed in my own family. So the picture up here are my grandparents on my mother's side. They migrated from Appalachian coal country to the industrial Midwest in search of a better life after my grandfather returned from the European theater in World War II. And like so many other people who made that journey, cultural displacement and readily available alcohol, which is in contrast actually to the dry counties that they came from in eastern Kentucky, contributed to widespread alcohol abuse. My grandparents weren't spared from this fate. And although their love from us, or for us, was never in doubt, even as a child, I could feel how their alcohol abuse shaped the family dynamic and created instability, tension, and conflict among the people who loved me. The next picture is my uncle. It's my mom's little brother. And he was a part of my life since before I can remember, and was actually my primary father figure during my teenage years. He was a kind and generous man with a big heart. He was the sort of person who would give up his evenings and his weekends to help anybody who needed it. But as I got older, I had a close-up view of the impact of alcohol on his life. After years of struggle, he did find sobriety through AA and was able to hang on to it for over a decade. But eventually, his drinking returned with a vengeance, and it cost him his marriage and ultimately his life at the age of 57, which happens to be the same age I am now, due to medical complications from alcohol. My mother's story is another example of the hidden toll that addiction can take. She lived with secret alcohol abuse for years, and even those closest to her, including myself, didn't know the extent of her struggle for a long time. But after my family experienced an unimaginable tragedy, her struggle came to the forefront. So in 2021, my 17-year-old niece, who's the one in the front here in the picture, in the striped shirt, and those are my son and daughter behind her, she was killed in a head-on collision caused by a drunk driver. And even though she lived in Michigan and my kids and I lived here in Florida, my kids were very close with her through frequent visits and constant contact over text and social media, like kids will do. To say that her death shattered our family is an absolute understatement, and having to call my kids in the middle of the night to tell them the horrible news is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. The man responsible was later convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to up to 15 years in prison. And that one moment of impaired judgment ended my niece's life and devastated both our family and his. So in the aftermath of this, my mother's grief was overwhelming. Her alcohol use, which had been hidden for so long, reached its peak. But in the midst of that pain, something extraordinary happened. Somehow she managed to seek help. And through the support of Alcoholics Anonymous, she found sobriety in her 70s. She began a new chapter of her life, one that honored her granddaughter's memory and reclaimed her own strength. So this is a picture of my mom and my stepfather. And one of the greatest lessons I learned from watching all of this, from watching my mother's journey to sobriety, was the impact of my stepfather's unwavering support. It really was an amazing thing to see when it would have been easy, so easy for him to criticize and judge and withdraw. His focus stayed absolutely fixed on her well-being. And his example clearly showed that connection and compassion are the most powerful gifts we can share with those of us around us who struggle with addiction. Other members of my family haven't been so fortunate. A cousin that I grew up with died in her 40s as an indirect result of addiction to pain medication. Another cousin is in prison right now due to crimes he committed to support his addiction. And alcohol is just a constant thread running through my extended family, contributing to conflict, dislocation, divorce across generations. The stories I've mentioned here really only scratch the surface. Now, to be sure, my family isn't defined solely by substance abuse, but like so many other families, and maybe even families of folks right here in the room, it's a part of the water we swim in, and its effects sometimes just seem to blend in with the noise of everyday life. But a consistent truth that I've seen throughout my life is that those who struggle with substance abuse and addiction need people around them who listen, help, and support. And I'm painfully aware that happy endings aren't always a part of the story, but love and compassion can sometimes be enough to give someone a fighting chance. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing so deeply with us, Brian. And it is a time in our service that we put aside for prayer, for joys and sorrows. So if you have a sorrow that you need witnessed or help with, or a joy you wish to share, please contribute to a collective sharing of joys and sorrows to be read here during the service. You can do so during the week by sending an email at joysandsorrows@orlandou.org. You can also complete a card if you are here in person, and the wonderful welcomers make sure that we have it up here to share with the rest of the congregation. And we also offer you a space to come up and light a candle. So, always bring your joys and your sorrows as we come together. Come just as you are, because your whole self is welcome here in this space we are co-creating together. We have both a joy and a sorrow from Elizabeth. Today is Elizabeth, Ansley, and Nolan's last Sunday at church before our big move to Illinois. This is from Elizabeth back there. We remain so grateful for our 1U community and look forward to returning for many visits. Please join us during coffee hour for cake as a small token of our thanks. We wish you the very best in this big transition. Amber and Penelope share a joy and a sorrow. Their cat Merlin is enjoying his 17th year of life, and his veterinarian reported that his creeping kidney values are finally starting to change drastically. They are thankful for the remaining time they have with Merlin and appreciate your thoughts as they navigate this difficult journey. Penelope and Amber, we send you just loving and compassionate energy. This is from Kat and Julia. The Rigby Burdettes would like to share that Paul is home resting after he tripped and fell in the home about 2 weeks ago. He got stitches for his forehead in the ER and was diagnosed with concussion. Our family doctor says he's healing nicely and will check him again in a week to see if he can be cleared to drive again. Paul is in good spirits, all things considered. Cheerful cards welcome as he continues to rest. Tell him your favorite song or favorite joke in the card. So this is a direct request, beloveds, so let's flood them with cards. And from the larger community, on this date, May 25, 2020, George Perry Floyd Jr., a black man, was murdered by a white police officer who knelt on Mr. Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. One of the results of that vicious murder that was witnessed by so many was how it brought out so many people to advocate for justice. And unfortunately, it seems like that fight, that protest, that struggle continues and need us even more today. We hold our community and our country with care and the world with our compassion by acting for justice in all the small and large ways that will move the arc of the universe towards justice. We hold the fears and sorrows of all those affected by wars and other situations beyond their control. And for all the joys and sorrows of this community, shared and those we continue to hold close to our hearts, let us pray, let us celebrate, and let us send one another healing energy. I left the announcement for the flowers for last because they were provided today by Catherine Vaccaro in honor of Memorial Day, honoring our summer holiday and those who sacrificed for democracy. And our prayer today is a Memorial Day prayer. I invite us into this meditative prayer by Barbara Peskin. So if you would sit maybe 5% more comfortable than you are right now. Close your eyes if that feels right for you. You can also keep them at a soft gaze. Spirit of life, whom we have called by many names in thanksgiving and in anguish. Bless the poets and those who mourn. Send peace for the soldiers who did not make the wars, but whose lives were consumed by them. Let strong trees grow above graves, far from home. Breathe through the arms of their branches. The earth will swallow your tears while the dead sing, no more, never again. Remember me. For the wounded ones and those who received them back, let there be someone ready when the memories come, when the scars pull and the buried metal moves. And forgiveness for those of us who were not there for our ignorance. And in us, veterans in a forest of 1,000 fallen promises, let new leaves of protest grow on our stumps. Give us courage to answer the cry of humanity's pain, and with our bare hands, out of full hearts, with all our intelligence, let us create the peace. With those words on your hearts, and also carry on your heart those difficult stories, especially for those whose relationship with alcohol is unhealthy. Carry those in your heart, and let's come forward and light a candle. We invite you, as you are willing and able, to come forward through these two aisles and light a candle. If you are willing, focus your energy on the idea that talking about things can usually improve relationships. So come forward as you are willing and able and light a candle. let's light one candle for those who sacrificed their lives, their health for our democracy. Let's light another one for those attending online, and one yet for all the joys and sorrows we continue to hold on to.
Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In dark and gray, sorrow and pain, will we remain singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing.
Good morning again. Reverend Margalie asked me to speak about my relationship with alcohol, and I'm honored to be asked. So I'll begin by saying this. My name is Beth, and I am an alcoholic. I'm grateful to be sober for 42 years. Thank you for that. So my relationship with alcohol has evolved over the years, but it began with curiosity. My parents were a fun couple, and they liked to entertain. I learned that booze was an integral part of any party or ski trip or any event. I associated it with success, happiness, and good times. That's what I saw as a kid. What I didn't understand was that booze was also the reason my folks fought with each other, with their friends and family. We moved from Minnesota to the Seattle area when I was in 3rd grade. My dad was a dermatologist, and he was starting his own practice. With that came financial insecurity. There was a lot more drinking and more fighting. My relationship with alcohol became fear. I changed schools a lot, and I always felt like an outsider. I was lonely, and I was bullied. The summer before the 8th grade, my life changed. I was 13 years old. It was the 4th of July block party, and the neighbors down the street had gathered at a home. My neighbors had gathered at a home down the street. My best friend, my sister, and I raided my parents' liquor cabinets. I downed a half a glass of bourbon and water, and then another glass of straight bourbon. I felt happy, and I felt bulletproof. At this point, I had fallen in love with alcohol. I drank all through junior high and high school. Alcohol was now not only my friend, but my identity. It gave me purpose. It lifted me up when I felt down. After high school, I spent 3 months backpacking through Europe. There was no drinking age. And of course, I drank a lot. Then I came home and I went to college. Drinking was a big part of my campus experience. It was fun, and I enjoyed partying with my friends. I was building relationships and a narrative. But what I didn't understand is that I'd become dependent upon alcohol. Upon graduation, I got a job. My friends moved on with their lives. They began careers, got married, and had children. Yet I was still chasing booze, and by this time, cocaine and a lot of other drugs. My best friend invited me to visit with her and her new husband in Portland, Oregon. I was drunk the whole time, and I ruined her weekend. 3 days later, I received a letter from her stating, "Beth, you have a problem, and I can't be around you anymore." It was a dagger through my heart, but I kept on partying. But her letter stuck with me, and I began to see that my relationship with alcohol was now toxic. I was an addict. I drank at work, in the morning before work, and after work. I got into car accidents, ruined friendships. I hung out with some really awful people, and I drank in dives. I also began getting the delirium tremens, or the DTs. That's when you see things that aren't there. I was also a blackout drinker, not a passed out drinker, but someone who drinks and continues to move through life with zero recollection. That's what happened to me on my 27th birthday. I had the day off and I was supposed to go to my parents' house for dinner. I got up in the morning and I went to the gym. I ran into a friend of my older brother who said, "Hey, let me take you out for a birthday drink." And I said, "Okay." I remember nothing from the rest of that day. I came to in my apartment and my mom was calling. It was 8 o'clock at night and I'd missed my birthday dinner. So I went to a substance abuse outreach clinic and they gave me a list of questions. If you answer yes to 3 of them, you have a problem. I answered yes to all but one, and I think that one question was, had you ever been to jail? And I hadn't yet. So in the spring of 1983, I spent 3 weeks in rehab. When I got out, I went to AA meetings. I listened to people who had been in the program, and I learned that no matter how long an alcoholic is sober, the disease continues. I have since accepted that I live in a world that drinks, but I cannot. I now have a healthy fear of alcohol. So my relationship today is one of responsibility. As a member of AA, I try to live up to this promise. I am responsible. When anyone, anywhere reaches out for help, I want the hand of AA always to be there, and for that, I am responsible. Thanks.
Thank you, Beth, for sharing so deeply and with such vulnerability. We have heard stories today of pain and resilience, of addiction and recovery, of silence and the cost of keeping things hidden. We have heard the heartache of families torn apart by alcohol abuse and the healing that becomes possible when love, persistent, non-judgmental love steps in. Brian reminded us that grief and tragedy can uncover what we've kept hidden, and that sometimes out of the darkest moments comes the courage to begin again. Beth showed us that even when the world around us continues to drink, we can choose a different path. And that sobriety, like any deep transformation, is a daily act of responsibility and grace. And in Canto, the family discovers that Bruno was never the problem. The real issue was the fear of facing what he revealed. And when they finally embraced him, they also began to heal. May we too have the courage to embrace the Brunos in our lives, those parts of ourselves and our community that are harder to talk about. May we be willing to name the truth that matter, especially when they bring us closer to compassion and connection. Let this be a place where we talk about hard things. Let this be a place where no one is cast out because of what they carry. Let this be a place where everyone belongs. May we be so blessed. And now join me in singing our closing hymn, number 1012, When I Am Frightened. Rise in body or spirit.
Will you be strong for
Beloveds, go in peace, go in truth, go in love, and go knowing that nothing about you needs to be hidden. We are in this together, always. May we be so blessed. Worship has ended, and now the service truly begins. While working on this service, I realized that I want to do a Bruno's series next year, the things we don't talk about. And it's not just us, other religious spaces don't either. So look forward to next church year for a sermon series called Let's Do Talk About Bruno's. So we have compiled a list for you of agencies that provide sobriety support, and it is not a complete list. These are just some of the places that we thought of. And if you click on the back of the order of service, we have those listed with links if you wanted to click on any of those links for more information. So what I am inviting you to do is make space for those hard conversations, not just here today, but really every day, so that no one feels like there are things that they just cannot share with you. We need to be able to make space for one another. It is how we grow, and we make space for others to grow also and feel like they belong in this community. Again, may we be so blessed in doing so. And now we will extinguish this chalice.
Please say these words with me as we extinguish this chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Can you do it?
Yeah.
get my sunglasses because I cannot go outside.
Yep, I understand.